Dealing with the end of a marriage is stressful. There's all the emotional, legal, financial, and logistical issues to resolve. And that's why our next two guests started a platform to help women navigate the family law system. Farrah and Sophia, two successful self-represented litigants who defended themselves in court against their ex-husbands. They now run a platform called The Smart Girls Guide, where they share their experiences and insights with others in similar situations. They're joining us this morning from Vancouver. Good morning to you both.
Hi, good morning, Anne-Marie.
First of all, good morning. What led both of you to represent yourselves in your legal battle against your ex-husbands? Farrah, I'll start with you.
I was married for 15 years. I had 3 small children, and when my marriage ended, I did have representation. I had very good counsel, but it became clear to me after 10 years that things were not going to resolve. I had 7 attempted trials that I was dealing with, and it came to the point where I didn't have $200,000 to put down as a retainer to go into trial, that I realized I had to represent myself, and so I did that.
Sophia, what about you?
Yeah, honestly, similar to Farrah, it was cost reasons. To be honest, it's a very expensive process. It's very complicated as well. And I was enduring a very long litigation against a very malicious litigant. And for strategic reasons as well as cost reasons, I kind of had to self-represent. I had no other option.
Well, nobody else understands the challenges of navigating the family law system like the both of you do after your experiences. What are some of the tips that you share with people who come to you in the Smart Girls Guide?
I mean, there's so many tips. First of all, you've got to stay organized, and that it begins with, if you're going to represent yourself, set up a different email address. You don't want your legal emails mixed in with your school emails and your personal emails, so a separate email address is really important. Documents, documents, documents. If you're still in your marriage, make sure you have copies of bank statements and credit card statements and financial statements, all of which you're going to need when it comes time to have the court make decisions about dividing property and assets.
Farrah, really quickly, one of the top tips on there was to focus on self-care. Why was that important?
You know what? Because it's a long process. It's emotionally the most challenging and difficult thing you'll ever go through. So self-care for yourself, having people that you can talk to, having balance where you can create that is really important. And it's how, you know, Sophia and I found each other.
What were some of the challenges that you faced while self-litigating in BC?
Oh, it was a lot. To be honest, there's so much information and it's a very overwhelming system. So just understanding and finding all the information on how to navigate the legal system was a big one. I would say also just the challenges of dealing with a very contentious litigant. And when you're self-representing, you are kind of at the mercy of the other counsel. And, you know, I was exposed to a lot of legal bullying. You really have to assert yourself in court. You have to know how to present yourself, how to dress, how to talk, how to make applications. So there's a lot of information. It can be quite overwhelming. Some additional challenges, I would say, is just lack of disclosure. A big thing in the legal system where a lot of litigants face is the lack of the opposing counsel actually providing the materials. So that's kind of what led us to start this whole Smart Girls Guide, is to help navigate all this, put it into language that's easy to understand, where lay people like you and I can really understand it and navigate it ourselves.
What changes would both of you like to see in the family law system, whether in BC or other provinces here in Canada? Farrah, I'll start with you.
For me, I mean, I had 10 court applications and then an 18-day trial, and I think for the most part I had really good judges, but you don't become a judge in family law having necessarily been a family lawyer. So you could have come from civil litigation or from wills and estates or from criminal law, and you now have to be up to speed on all of the legalities of family law, which is, you know, the law changes, it evolves, there's lots of nuances. And so I think it's challenging for judges to have to hear a family law matter one day, a civil litigation matter the next day. And I'd like to see if it's possible for family lawyers who become judges and who are appointed to then have to be able to you know, adjudicate family law matters. If that would be possible, I think it would be really great.
Sophia, what about you?
Yeah, I would add to that. I think it'd be great to have a better scheduling system. So one thing that's quite frustrating is when you're making a chambers application, you have to wait and sit in court, or your lawyer sits in court for potentially hours before you get heard by the judge. I think it'd be really great just to have a system where you're scheduled, you have a time allotted, and you present your case, and that would really save a lot of costs and also the waiting aspect.
Both of you speaking from a lot of experience, such a vital resource that you are providing. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for your time.
Anne-Marie.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.